Hello. Evening. Apparently I'm live. It's Friday the 18th of December 2020 and this will be the last one before Christmas. Possibly the last one before 2021. I think it was may have been the Washington Post asked people to try and sum up 2020 in one word or phrase, and I don't know if it was a competition, but the one I read said it's like you went to cross the road and you looked left, looked right carefully before crossing, and then got knocked over by a submarine, which seems about right. Hello, Paul. This is my brother. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Sage. Here we are. There were some complaints about the fact that I was drinking tea recently on a live stream, so I shall put that one to rest immediately. Cheers, your very good health, all of you. And hello to people watching in the future. It's quite a weird thought, but hello. Hello, Lee. And yeah, it is a good analogy, isn't it? Right, you may have noticed that, oh, that's good. It started off with a handful of people, and then two apparently, according to my little thing, which is very off-putting in the corner of the screen. Apparently two of them have left already. Was it something I said? Or was it the thing about the submarine? Hello, Albie. Blimey. You're too early. I've just started. You're getting worse. Every week it's earlier and earlier. Look, we had this discussion, didn't we?
Albie.
I said, you've got to make them wait. You're the star of the show. Do it now and they'll all just leave in 5 minutes time, okay? So you can go. I'll call you later.
Albie.
And then you can come. Go on, off you
Good boy. No, Albie.
Albie, go away. Stop it. I'll call you in a minute. In a little while you can come back. Now, Sage, you've obviously looked into this. You have to be careful about alcohol on YouTubes if you ever monetize your channel. Yeah, well, I said I had complaints about tea, so I've obviously moved to blackcurrant squash. And I don't think I'll ever monetize my channel. My plan, yes, plan, I love the words my plan occasionally come out of my mouth, but as anyone who knows me will tell you, they don't really mean anything. My plan is not to ever monetize this channel. I don't even like the word monetize. I struggle with the whole marketing thing, as many of you know. But this is always going to be, if I carry on doing this, even if I do fewer of them as time goes on, the plan is to just keep it between us, you know, friends, and hopefully more along the way, but not really to attach any particular financial value to it. I've been lucky enough to be able to earn a living by writing over the last few years, so if I can give back in any way that's useful, then I'll try and do it. That sounds a bit crap though, doesn't it? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to do the right thing, but it started off as a nice way of staying in touch during the complete madness of lockdown, and now all that nonsense is over. We're just carrying on. One day it'll be over. We have a few new people. Hello, Trish. Hello, Sam. Oh, it's a new thing. So YouTube is now telling people they can't drink on their channels. It can't be monetized if you've got alcohol on your channel. Is it really? That's just mad. How does that work? Who thought that idiot? That blackcurrant strum. Who thought that idiotic rule up? I mean, there's certain films that if you applied the same logic, we would never have had With Now and I. So I'm afraid YouTube may have got that wrong. Anyhow, I'm going to try and keep up this idea of not rambling on for too long, and also talking about something useful. So, as I said in the when I put the video up, the announcement that it was going live tonight, I said I would talk a little bit about writing minor characters, and because I have had quite a few people get in touch over the last few years, and it was just lovely. I mean, other writers who've asked about my characters and if I had any tips on how to make them sort of well rounded, even the minor characters, and make them believable. So I'm very flattered. Thank you, and I do try and do it because I mean, we've all seen it. It's kind of more obvious in films some of the time when there's someone's just in the film because they got a job to do plot-wise. You know, we need them to deliver a message of some kind to the lead character, and then that's it. They're gone, and we know nothing about them. In a book, you do have a chance to let us know a little bit more about that person if you want to. So, and I quite like that. I like the idea that you can just let that person live and breathe a little bit and give the reader something to latch onto. I I didn't mean come back in 3 minutes. I'll call you when it's time. I'm like, no, not yet. Blimey. All right. Okay. All right. We'll have to do it now. Okay. He's giving me the stare. It's There's no arguing with the stare. All right. Come. Oh God. Right. Albie. Yes. Can you sit back here, please? Look. Your adoring public don't just need you staring at the bottom of the screen where the treats are. So can we get you? Yes. There we go. You're so led by your stomach, aren't you? Yes, you are. Right, okay. Take it gently. Is that gentle? I suppose it's reasonably gentle. Okay. And what about this one? I would make you do some tricks, but you can't really do any when you're sitting on my lap, can you? There's nothing you can do. Okay, go on and take it. Now it's just staring at the last one. Okay, you can wear a hat then. At the very least, be Christmassy. Okay, there we go. That doesn't really fit you, does it? But it'll have to do. All right, good boy. There you go. No, get off the keyboard. That's it. That's your lot. That's your lot. Yes. You're daft. People are tuning literally in their 3 or 4s to get amazing insight into the writing process. Albie. Not to look at a cockapoo snuffling treats. Although we both know, actually, that's not true. They're only here for you. All right, what are you going to do? Because it's a bit off-putting now. You can't eat the mic. That's not a treat. That's a microphone. That's it. It's all gone. You want to go? Yeah. Okay. See you later. He's slinking away. So we have a little, while Albie's doing his bit, Sam started another little chat. What's everyone reading at the moment? But manages to get a mention of my next one, so that's good. I haven't read I haven't read Keith's new one yet. It's called A Page in Your Diary, isn't it? It's supposed to be very good. I have got it, so I will be reading it at some point. Let us know how good it is, and thank you for waiting for Clockwork Sherlock. I actually spoke to my new contacts at Audible today. I completely forgot to ask about getting hold of the artwork for the cover, but yes, January. It will be out in January. And Sage reminds us that spear carriers are the people who often walk in and out of the plot of a book just to advance the plot slightly with no real agency of their own at all and no personality to speak of. Dogs can tell the time. Well, this one can't because he's dead early. Yeah, the Albie fan club. Here we go. Oh, Trish is reading Songs of the Assyrian by Christopher D. Abbott. I note the same second name there, Trish. Nice little subtle plug there for Chris's books. Excellent. And why not? Excellent. Right. good point from Doug. Donor characters are good for nudging the story along. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, and I'm sure I've been guilty of it, of just bringing someone in just to do that. But I really, if I can make them slightly more believable, I will. And I was trying to think, when have I done that? There was one bit I did in one of the World Walker books, a character, and I just couldn't find it. It's been a long time since I've looked at it, but I did manage to find one in the Unmaking engine, so I was going to talk about that a little bit, but just look through the comments first. Yeah, Vini Munchi Buggeroffi, yeah, in Latin. There you go. Keith's got a new one out since the last one I downloaded. Blimey, he's writing fast. Excellent. Terms may apply. Okay. This is a problem when you're writing and you're beta reading for other people. Then often your to be read pile just grows without you actually making a dent in it. But I am trying very hard at the moment to read every day for pleasure. And at the moment I'm reading. I think it's probably pronounced Circa by, is it Madeline Miller? It's about, she's one of the nymphs, a daughter of Helios. It's a Greek myth retold, and you've got people like Daedalus and Icarus are in it, all the gods, Hermes, Athena, Zeus, and Odysseus, because Odysseus visits her island where she's exiled. And yeah, great, I'm really enjoying it. Near Life Experience, Book 6 of the How to Be Dead series. How to Be Dead is a great name for a series. There's so many things I need to look at. Terrific. Yeah, yours is far more graceful, Sage. Veni Mongi Arrivederci. Cersei. What? The reason I didn't say Cersei, I'm completely aware of why I decided it was Circa rather than Cersei, or Kirke in Greek. Thank you for that, Sage. You're very knowledgeable. Is because if I said Cersei, that was how I pronounce the name in my head of Game of Thrones, Ned Stark's wife. Cersei it probably is, but Cersei I think is how I said it in my head, so that's why that didn't stick as Cersei. Maybe I'll start saying Kirke to myself. So let me be self-indulgent. It's not like it can stop me. Here's a book I haven't looked at for a very long time. Book 2 in the World Walker series, The Unmaking Engine. And as a character, it's quite near the end, but this is not a spoiler. So if you haven't read this, what are you doing? Then this won't spoil anything. There's a chapter 40 is set on the International Space Station, and it looks like it's about 1,000 words long, maybe 1,200 words long. It's not a long chapter, and it just does its own thing. And plot-wise, what I needed to happen really was to say that a huge spaceship appeared in Earth's atmosphere. That was it. So I got to that point. Oh, okay, everyone's getting very upset now. Yeah, Robert's wife, not Ned's wife. Okay. Sorry, Cersei Lannister, isn't it? Robert's wife, and then she's the awful one. I'm thinking of Sansa and Arya's mother, whose name has obviously now gone completely out of my head. Yeah, Cersei is definitely not a Stark, as you're all pointing out. Sorry. Yeah, of course, Cersei Lannister. Okay, we can't carry on now until someone tells me the character's name, please. So Ned Stark's wife, who has far more to do in the books than she does in the TV series, and actually her part gets kind of more and more interesting. Again, no spoilers, but after the Red Wedding, things don't quite go down the same way as they do in the TV series. And nobody's telling me her name. It'd be very rude if I Googled. Yeah, see, there you go. Sage knows and doesn't even like Game of Thrones. Well, you should be though. Books are terrific. Yeah, so I could have just said, I suppose, maybe some writers would have, and thank you, Caitlin. Yes, Caitlin Stark. Whew. And I think he calls her cat. Okay, thank goodness. Yeah, maybe in another book it would have been better just to say a vast spaceship appeared in Earth's atmosphere. But in this particular case, I just thought, it just occurred to me there was a way of doing it that was more interesting, and this also maybe demonstrates. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Dickens. I just want to make that absolutely clear before I carry on. However, when I first started writing, it was always in my head. I love Dickens, and John Irving, who does kind of the same thing, is also a huge fan of Dickens. And they have minor characters that seem like real people, and I always think it's because Dickens just gives you enough information, even if it's someone just appears for a very short time, there'll be something about them, and often it's in the way they speak that's unique to them, or to have some kind of pretension going on. One or two quirks of character, it'll just nail into place for you straight away. And even if that character, particularly in Dickens, might not appear for another 400 pages, they'll come back in and you go, oh, it's them, because you'll remember that tiny little quirk of character, whatever it may be. So I thought I might read from a little bit of it. He's basically Massimo. Is this Massimo Parolini is the astronaut taking a spacewalk, doing some maintenance work on the International Space Station. He's also got Vlad out there, but who's on the opposite side. So yeah, Massimo. He's an astronaut, but he's in love with one of his fellow astronauts, Kramer. That's not the Seinfeld Kramer. This is a different Kramer, the American astronaut. And so he's up there in this, seeing an amazing sight that not many people see in a lifetime. And I shall read a little bit of it. But this was me trying to do the kind of thing that Dickens does, which is just to give you a few things to hang on to somebody that gives them a real personality. I mean, I hope this is an early book, so I don't know how well I succeeded, but that was the plan. Massimo turned and looked at the planet, Earth. Beneath him, well, not beneath him, there being no up or down in space, but he had to think in words that made some kind of sense, so beneath would just have to do. The planet rolled, a gigantic blue ball. Massimo was no poet, but his soul leaped within him every time he got outside the ISS and saw the vast blueness of his home unfolding in front of him. It was so blue. Nothing could prepare you for that. Clouds danced across the scene, their shadows trailing across oceans and land masses. Big blue ball of fusion. I'm not going to do an Italian accent, by the way. I'm a terrible actor, so there's no point. But imagine it in an Italian accent. Big blue ball of hugeness, thought Massimo. No. Enormous slow-mo football made of blue stuff. No. Spinny big thing. Shit. Kramer, the American, had told him the English language was best for true poetry, but Massimo was starting to wonder if Kramer had only said that because she couldn't speak any other languages herself. If Kramer hadn't been female and kind of cute, he might have argued in favour of the beauty of the Italian language, but since he was hoping for a celebratory dinner with Kramer once they were home, he conceded a point. A celebratory dinner followed by some traditional Italian disrobing ceremonies, he hoped, so English it was. Azure was another word for blue, right? Azure, as you're turning beneath me. Now that was clever, a play on words. In a second language, Massimo felt a flush of pride. He might try that one on Kramer later. He knew there was no chance of serious flirting while they were on board, but he could do some preliminary work and... "Che caso," he said, crossing himself involuntarily, which wasn't an easy thing to do in a spacesuit. And then it describes this massive object that appears by the space station. I'm going to skip some bits here. So he's seen this enormous space station out there, probably first contact with aliens, so he decides he really should radio this in to whoever's on the other end of the radio inside the ISS. Massimo to Kramer. "This is Kramer. How's it looking out there this afternoon, Massey?" Only Kramer and Massimo's mother were permitted to call him Massey. He looked at the sleek grey surface which partly blocked his view of Earth. It was cigar-shaped, but as Massimo watched, it transformed itself, both ends moving inward as the middle expanded, ending up looking like a miniature moon. He opened his mouth to report, then closed it again. Why had no alarms gone off? Why hadn't Houston alerted them? He thought hard for a few seconds. The spaceship hadn't been there before. Now it was. It had appeared, some might say, magically. Magical appearances were frowned upon by those with a scientific mindset. He thought back to the rehydrated macaroni and cheese he had eaten about an hour ago. As well as being an insult to Italian cooking, the cheese had tasted particularly strange. He stared hard at the spaceship, blinked, and looked again. It was still there. All looks very nice here, he said. Big planets, stars, and whatnot. How are things with you? Everything's fine. Massey, did you just say whatnot? So, nothing to report on the proximity detectors? The cameras? Radar? No, all normal. You seeing something out there? Massimo took another very long look at the spaceship. He thought about the cheese. No, nothing. I'm feeling a little unwell. I think I'll come back in early if that's okay. Can you stay another 30 minutes just to make sure that panel will stay in place? Well, I think it might be better if I... For me, Massey? Kramer was doing that husky voice thing. It was very unfair. 30 minutes more, he said, looking at the spaceship, which now seemed to have thousands of tiny lights racing across its surface in every direction. He knew that American cheese was poorer than the glory that was Italian cheese, but he was shocked at the powerful side effects. He only hoped his stomach would hold up for another half hour. Toilet accidents in the sealed environment of a spacesuit were no fun at all. So the reason I read that bit out is just I hope it sort of shows what I'm trying to do, to flesh out a character in a very short space of time, which is just all we know about Massimo is that, well, for a start, only his mother and Kramer are allowed to call him Massey, so he's fallen pretty hard for this fellow astronaut. He's trying to write poetry for her while floating in space. So yeah, he's a lovesick Italian who hates the food on board because it's so terrible, and dehydrated macaroni cheese wouldn't be particularly nice. He's a very proud Italian and proud of his heritage, and especially the cuisine. And he's also scared of looking like an idiot if he describes a spaceship that's appeared that no instruments have detected at all. It's floating in front of him. And there's, it's a very light bit of writing. It's a bit of fun, but I could really picture him, and I liked him as a person. And I think if you can get to the stage even with a minor character who's only in for a few pages, where you actually you either like them or at least you understand them, you know what it's like to look at their eyes, then that works. And I just think it just makes a book more interesting. It's that thing about tangents again. In some ways it is a tangent, because like I say, I could just say a spaceship appeared within the atmosphere, but this is far more interesting to me way of doing it. And I like those little glimpses into people's lives. I like the tangents. I like it when it's done well in a book, and I suppose I'm just trying to emulate that. How successfully, again, that's up to the reader. It has been something that people have emailed me about quite a few times over the last few years, and that would be my advice is to. I don't think Dickens thought I'd better give this person a couple of little quirky things to make them memorable. I think he probably just pictured the scene. Yeah, I'm just putting myself in the place of Dickens, everybody, just in case you missed that. Probably pictured the scene, and he could see these people. He knew who these people were. And because he knew it, then we saw it too. That's what you can do. Oh, I like this. Massimo was an astronaut in The Big Bang Theory. Not something I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I've always enjoyed it when I've walked in and it's been on. It's one of those shows that I've never actually watched, but that makes me very happy. I like the synchronicity. And yes, Sean has immediately detected the influence of one Douglas Adams in that piece of writing. The Vogon constructor fleet hung in the air in exactly the way a brick doesn't. Yeah, absolutely brilliant line. One of my other favourites from that series is when Arthur is trying to learn how to fly. and the trick to that, and they try and train you how to. There are people who train you how to do it, but the art of flying is to throw yourself at the ground and miss. And yes, Sam, you're right. We have been on tangents before, and we will be there again. You could argue that life is a series of tangents, and all the more interesting for it. And again, that probably goes back to what I said earlier about me saying something about having a goal and laughing about it, or a plan. I've never been a goal setter. Well, it's not completely true. As a writer, I sort of set targets for every week of how many words to write, and then bring that down to every day and try and hit those targets. But that's the closest I've ever been, and that's really day by day and week by week. This whole having goals and then plans for the year and the 2 years. And I'm not saying it's not a great idea. It's just it's not me. I am the tangent man. There you go. Could be a series, couldn't it? Like Gadget Man, or what's the? I'm a fruit who knows where his towel is. Don't you worry. What's the Richard Ayoade series? He did Gadget Man as well, didn't he? The travelling one. It's probably Travelling Man, isn't it? Yeah, I could be Tangent Man. That would be an interesting half an hour every week on BBC, wouldn't it? You start off discussing one thing, and then by the end of it, you can't remember what you're doing, what your name is, and why you're there. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I'm trying to say. You even if someone just enters stage left, exits stage right, and delivers a message, then as a writer, you really should know why they're doing that. Not to the extent maybe of what they had for breakfast and what their childhood was like, but you should know more about them, because it could be it could be a look, it could be a phrase, it could be anything. It just makes them live and breathe rather than just be a way of furthering the plot. There you go, Travel Man. Yes, exactly. Quite so. So with Massimo, hopefully by the end of that chapter, you get quite a good impression of that he was this. You don't know much about his background, but you know he's from Italy, and he's a proud Italian. He thinks Italian is should be the language of poetry, not British, not English. But he's willing to try and write a poem in English for this woman he's infatuated with, and he's up there in a place where very few people will ever be, and he's doing maintenance. He's on a moonwalk. He's got Earth floating beneath him, and he's actually thinking about his potential improvements in his love life because of this obsession with Kramer, which for me makes him believable, and hopefully for the reader too. Okay, that's almost half an hour already. Well, I think it's time for the proper tangents, but let me just give you the writing news for the week. Is that I was only able to write 3 days so far this week, but I did hit my targets for all those days. So the Bedlam Boy books are inching closer to completion. We're now at something like 80-something thousand words for the current 3, and then I will be going back and completing the other 3, and so hopefully next year will be a January release for Clockwork Sherlock as an ebook and a paperback, and then every few weeks from I'm not sure when, maybe March, maybe earlier, maybe end of March, will be every few weeks another Bedlam Boy book, and I'm hoping there'll be 6. So 2 more seasons of Bedlam Boy. When I've done that, hopefully, I will write the next Clockwork Sherlock book, which will mean that will come out. I don't know when it'll come out. It's a much longer process than that, so it'll be a while before we see that on a Kindle or in paperback, but it'll be audio exclusive for 6 months again when that comes out. So right, off with the tangents. What's Sam got to say? Teaching a year 5 class the other year, we were in a big PSHE discussion about life. One of the kids said 42. Now, if that had been one of my kids, they would have said 42. None of the others knew anything about it. It took us an opportunity to educate them, and so you should. This is a classic of the English language. And there are plenty of people who've never read the books who know what the answer to life, the universe, and everything is. But if they haven't read the books, they absolutely should read the books. And if there's only one good thing to be taken from Douglas Adams dying far too young, with too much left unsaid and unwritten, it's the fact that he didn't live to see the travesty they made of that film. Read the books, listen to the original radio series would be my advice, either of which are fantastic. I read the books first, so I guess the books are still my favourite, but the radio series, which is where it all started, is amazing, and it must have been great if you discovered it through the radio series. Also, whoever composed the theme music and thought, oh, okay, this is all set in space and there's lots of aliens in it, so I'm going to use a banjo, should be given a medal of some description. In this country, if you own a newspaper, they give you a lordship, this particular government. You become a member of the House of Lords and get a say in how we're governed, basically, which is shite. So I think people like Douglas Adams are the ones we should be giving lordships to. We should give them to the writers and the artists and the musicians, and not to newspaper owners. There you go, bit of politics for you. Excellent. Our youngest has just walked into the kitchen, heard you, and immediately said 42. I approve of this message. Well done. Right, would you believe I've been rambling on already for over half an hour, so I think I should wrap things up for tonight. If you're watching this either now or in the future, and you've got any questions or any comments, please pop them down in the comment section below. Please do that thing that you're supposed to do for YouTube, which is subscribe if you haven't already. Click the like button. If you hit the bell thing, you know all this, right? You get notifications when I do another live stream, which at the moment is still every week, but this will be the last one for at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. So nicest comment of the night. Thank you, Lee. All right, I'll do a bit more. But, you know, the thing is, I just think, I mean, it's really lovely. But I'm someone who, I do watch lots of YouTube videos, and I like them to be, if I see a half-hour video, 45-minute video, I think, oh, blimey, that's a bit long. I suppose it's different because it's live, but if you're watching it afterwards, maybe I should do an edited version where I just say, hello, then we see Albie, and then I go, I see the little silhouette of a child. Scaramouche, Scaramouche, can you do the fandango? Who is that? We can see the silhouette of your head. See your shadow. It's no good, just, I can still see it. What are you doing? At least put your face around the door. This giggling is happening out there. No, okay. I was hoping someone might come out with that. Okay, child 1 and child 2, hello. Say happy Christmas to everyone.
Happy Christmas to everyone.
Okay, good. Well done. Far too many writers, artists, and entertainers are way too far out for that serious a position. Oh, well, I would take it. Yeah, I think a bit of way out might be actually quite good. Isn't the point that we're supposed to have a breadth of opinion and backgrounds? And if you're just handing out lordships predominantly to people who've donated to your political party, that's going to narrow the field somewhat and become a bit of a sort of vicious circle of cronyism. Yeah, and I like that. I'd like to see a few artists. I mean, there aren't any. I have said my piece. An affable chat between friends. Yes, it is. What are you throwing into the room? Don't throw treats for the dog into the room. You might suddenly leap up on me again and spill my blackcurrant. People are saying hello, child 1 and child 2, by the way.
Hello.
And happy Christmas.
Hello.
Happy Christmas, dressing gown woman. Who's in the...
Dressing gown woman is not in dressing gown.
Really? Not in dressing gown?
She's in jumper.
Oh, jumper. Okay. Yeah, but dressing gown woman is the official title now. So yeah, I would stay a little bit longer, but I've really got nothing to say, and I am. You all say nice things about these rambling, tangential, just going off a point all the time chats, but I'm slightly wary that it could be pretty tedious to watch. So even with the dog display going on, at least make him do a somersault or something. Oh, he's going to do his standing up, is he? Oh, he didn't do it. Hang on a second, this is weird. We have to, I mean, this might not be impressive to many people, but for us it's quite impressive. There we go. Right. I tried doing that the other day, I got nothing. Jumper woman? No. Jumper woman? That sounds like an instruction.
She is dressing gown woman.
She is dressing gown woman? Yeah? Good. That's more like it. Right. So perhaps we should have a, for in a couple of weeks' time or whenever it is, I come back and do another one. Maybe we should have some questions. If you're on my Facebook page, you can always put any ideas for future live streams for themes or questions to answer or anything you like. I'll give anything a go. I even thought about trying to come up with a completely new idea live, just to show that process. I mean, I'm happy to do anything. Either it has to be legal, or if it's not legal, it has to be when no one's looking. I don't think I can tonight, really, because it would mean walking over to the piano and I'm wearing pyjamas. That's not really a very good excuse, is it? All right. They want a Christmas song. Not you, dressing gown woman. You've had Prosecco. You stay there. All right. God, look how untidy that piano is. I've got it angled now, so careful. You can be seen, dressing gown woman. She's like Gremlins. Basically, you don't feed her after midnight, and you must never let her drink Prosecco. Okay, I'll sing my one only Christmas song that I normally sing. Pyjamas and all. But I usually forget the words. So you'll just have to imagine I actually know them. I'm going to sing a song, dressing gown woman, so stop doing silly things at the door. Go and sit down, have a little nap like you should be having. Even the dogs come in. What's the first line? Thank you. Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, the snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is a new bird. He sings his new song as we walk along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, and we can pretend he's Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no man, but you can do the job when you're down. Later on, we'll perspire as we dream by the fire. A face unafraid, the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. It's good night from me. It's good night from Dressing Gown Woman. It's good night from Child 1 and Child 2. And a very Merry Christmas and a peaceful New Year.